The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys Storylines with Nick Eatman.
What is up? It is Tuesday, November 7th. It's time for Cowboys Storyline. I am Nick Eatman here, and we're ready to roll. We're ready to get this thing going. You guys, obviously, tough loss at Sunday, but judging off the calls, you guys, at least, I think we had 10 or 11 calls yesterday. You know, I think, and I'm kind of getting this sense from different people you talk to, I think the optimism is high for this team. Even though it was a loss in a game that they easily could have won. They could have won the game. Not easily, but, I mean, when you're on the 6-yard line with 27 seconds to go, needing a touchdown to win, you expect to win. I'm sure if you guys ever look at that ESPN probability of winning the game, it goes up, down, whatever. I bet that thing was down pretty low when the Cowboys were on their own 18-yard line with 49 seconds to go or whatever it was, and then just shot up when they got down to the 6. But, you know, they didn't get in. They didn't get in. They didn't win the game. You know, and if you guys watched the Monday night game, you know, last night, Chargers and Jets, I mean, it was the Chargers played on Monday Night Football like 4 weeks in a row now, it seems like. But, you know, two teams the Cowboys beat here playing, and you're kind of trying to figure out still, we're 8 weeks into this, like, who's good? You know, I mean, the Eagles are good. But even we thought the Niners were good, and now, you know, they took a little bit of a slide, and it happens to everybody. So you kind of hope from the Cowboys standpoint they've already hit theirs. But this whole thing goes up and down. We're still halfway through the season, and even a little less than that. So a lot of football to be played. Know you guys want to talk about it. 888-855-2297. That is the number. Let's get right to the calls. Let's go right out of here. Rod in El Dorado, Kansas. Rod.
Yeah, how you doing, Nick?
What's up, man? How are you?
Well, first-time caller. I've been a long-time listener.
Awesome.
I like your show, like all the shows. I'd like to thank them that I'm the biggest Cowboy fan out there. At least that's what my wife would say. But I don't normally get to tune in live because I'm at work, and so at home today a little under the weather, so I decided to give you a call and listen in.
All right. Well, appreciate that. Hope you feel better. But what you got?
Well, thank you. Well, here's the deal. I listened to Brian Broaddus the other night after the ball game. They were doing the call-in show, and of course, everybody's reactions are, they're naturally disappointed. I was kind of like you on yesterday's show. You didn't know quite what to think. I was not as disappointed with this loss as I was with the 49er loss, but
Sure.
Because I felt like that they played hard. I really nobody could fault them for leaving it all out there. I really feel like that they played as hard a game, and everybody's talking about being a game of inches, and you've got these plays that if Dak doesn't step out of bounds, if they run that rub route just a little bit better, Schoenecker gets in the end zone, all these things. And so I was thinking, the other night after that game, Broaddus could have been taking all kinds of calls from people saying, this is their best game of the season. Wow, fantastic and everything. So I guess from my perspective, I think there is a lot of season left, but I think people need to temper their expectations with the fact that the Cowboys are going to have some hard games, and naturally the Eagles are, but it could come up at the end of the season where we're looking at the 5th seed again.
Right.
And my thought is, hey, if we are the 5th seed, we're in good position because looking at the team that's going to be in that 4th spot that we would be playing, we've got that matchup. Now, there's a lot of games to be played. I understand that, but I think people need to just take a deep breath. There's a lot of games to be played. We'll see how it plays out. And I guess that's all I wanted to say this morning. Just wanted to get your reaction to that.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the call, Rod. I think that is kind of the reaction of this fan base, at least for some. I mean, there's some that are really upset, hate the Eagles with a passion so much that, nothing short of a win is acceptable. But I think when you look at the big picture here about where this team stands and realizing, all right, what is our thoughts of the Cowboys? Where do we think they are as a team? And I think for me, it got better after the game. I feel better about the way that they can compete. You can argue all day long. I've heard some of the other shows about, well, when are they ever going to take the next step? And that's fair. But I mean, would you rather than win that game? Go back, steal that win, beat them 29-28 or whatever it would have been, and then lose in the playoffs. I mean, does that win help you? I mean, maybe it does. Maybe it helps you get to a better seed. But all I'm saying is that nothing really matters. We've proven this. Nothing matters until you get to the playoffs. You got to get there. You got to be good enough to get there. But when you get to the playoffs, are you peaking at the right time? Are you healthy at the right time? Can you get the breaks needed in the playoffs? And this team has not gotten those. We know that in the playoffs, but you got to be good enough to get there. And that's one thing that I could kind of see from that game. This is a good football team. This is a good football team. The Cowboys are a good football team. Are they great? No, they're not great. And they could be beat by bad teams. But I think that they are a good football team, have a chance to be a really good team. You get in the playoffs, and you have anything happens. We've seen that. We've seen them play terrible and lose to a team against Tampa Bay, come back last year and blow them out on the road. We've seen how the games change, how the season changes throughout. So we'll see if the Cowboys can do that. All right, next caller. Let's go to Mitch in North Dakota. Mitch, you're up.
Hey, Nick. Hopefully you're having a good Tuesday.
Having a good one. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was going to call and kind of talk about a couple of things, but I think you really just nailed everything I was going to say. I mean,
yes.
I'm really not feeling too bad after this loss. I
Right.
mean, after an Eagles loss especially, I'm feeling about as good as I can recall in quite a few years, I guess. I think they're competitive, and if that's the best shot we're going to get, the Eagles, I mean, I'm feeling pretty decent about that overall.
Yeah. I mean, I think I agree. I mean, I'm with you 100%. And this is not settling for losses. It's just knowing the big picture and understanding. All right. I mean, they can play with this team. They had the Eagles on the ropes. They didn't take advantage of it. They didn't win. We'll see what happens when they play them again, though, in a few weeks. Because that's
right,
definitely going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. If I had to flip a coin, I mean, it came up heads for the Eagles yesterday or on Sunday. Next time it might be the Cowboys, and I think that's about how close they are.
Right.
I guess I did just have a real couple of quick questions here. Man, CD is just playing. I mean, the guy is just, like you keep saying on the show, his price tag is going through the roof every time he plays.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think that's a check they'll happily write. But, man, he's playing outstanding. On the show yesterday, where's Brandon Cooks been? I mean, has he suited up? I mean, obviously he is, but, he is just not doing anything out there. And then sticking with the receiving here, is Jake Ferguson the second best receiver on this team? And then I'll let you get to that one. And then my last one, what is the big difference between the running game last year and this year? Yes, we had Zeke last year and all that. But I guess my question is, they keep scheming open guys like CD and so on. Can you scheme open or run, or can they get a little bit more creative in the running game to give Pollard and whoever else, some more open windows, I guess, to be more creative? So,
Right.
Is Ferguson the second best receiver? And what can we do with the running game to kind of jumpstart that a little bit? And I appreciate the time, Nick.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day, Mitch. Bouncing around with a lot of things. I'm going to take the Cooks thing last because they also have a text question here on our text line about that. Maybe we can throw that number up on the screen there. I'm without my number here on the text line. There it is, 817-290-3298. We got Chris Beams out today. He did the other show from a different location. So we got Jazz and Josh Rodriguez working in the back, killing it right now, doing a great job. But I got a text question on Cook, so I'll answer that with that. But Ferguson, second best receiver. Let's hope not. And I don't mean that in any disrespect to Jake Ferguson, but from a tight end standpoint, I think you want to have two receivers, three receivers. You want to have those dynamic players. Now he's becoming pretty reliable. And I'm not saying I told you so or anything like that, but he was the pick that I had. I never really thought they needed to go high on a tight end first round. They did the second round, but I liked what I saw from Ferguson and just thinking, all right, if this was the floor first year, he'll get there. We saw what Schultz did. His first couple years, I think he caught like 5 passes total. And then it turned the corner. So I thought that Ferguson would I could kind of see this a little bit. We saw just enough last year to think like this. So I hope he's the best tight end. And it's okay if he's, don't throw Travis Kelce at me like, well, he's their best receiver. I get it. All I'm saying is I hope he's the best tight end. I would like to think the Cowboys could still get 2 or 3 receivers that could be a little bit more dynamic and in the passing game. But still, he's playing well. And what I like about him, and I'm watching some highlights now, I know on that 4th and 8 to Tolbert that was incomplete, he had his guy he beat. He was wide open over the middle. That's one where I just think Dak looked at he looked at Tolbert on that 4th and 8 without really looking at anybody else. He also was looking at Schoonmaker on the pass down the goal line. Brandon Cooks was wide open over the middle. It's actually disgusting if you see that play and see how wide open Cooks was over the middle on that. And I know that there was heavy rush, but he got open so quick. If he was looking at Cooks, he could have punted it to him and he could have caught it, I think. And then the running game, scheming open runs, yeah, you can do that. It's called jumbo packages if your guys can report to get in the game and fullbacks and run the football. But what it doesn't do is you can't have what you say about CD and all that. You can't scheme all these guys open. You want to get a hat on a hat, block the guy in front of you and get the runs in. It's not happening this year. I think not having Zeke as a difference because I think he was better than Rico Dowdle as a runner, and I think he made Tony Pollard a better runner than he has been this year, taking on the load. I think we're starting to see a little bit more respect in Zeke, I would think. All right, and that text question that I was talking about. Doug from Florida, he said, he goes, I heard Cooks had almost 4 yards of separation Sunday. If that's true, he is open. Is he being used as a clear-out guy? If he is, kudos to him for not complaining and just doing his job. Interested in your thoughts. Good point. I'm kind of wondering a little bit about this. He's a guy that's been around, been to 4 different places, he's been 4 different teams before this, had 1,000-yard receiving seasons, so he's had success. We're not hearing that out of him at all. But I would imagine if he's a receiver at all, he should have a little bit of frustration there. So that may be coming. But he's a pro's pro. I do respect that his game. Like I said, I mean he's got to make. I think he could get open probably a little bit more. They could focus on him more. But man, that play on the goal line, he certainly was there. All right, Dylan in North Park, Florida. You're next.
Hey, Nick. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. So it's funny you mentioned that ESPN stat analyzer thingy there. I looked up yesterday. I actually wrote it down for the purposes of calling in today. The Eagles had an 84% chance to win when Dallas got that ball. And then it got all the way to about 50-50 when Dallas had their next that snap at the 11-yard line. So that thing flipped pretty good.
Yeah. I figured it would. That's so interesting to me because that's something I don't really understand it. I don't understand that 1,000%. I mean, I kind of get it, but I'd love to see when they spike up and down like that. But man, it would have been nice. That just goes to show how quickly a team can move without a timeout from your own 18-yard line down to the 6. Penalties help, of course, and getting out of bounds. I mean, I thought the Cowboys did a nice job, really good job of getting down there.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it would have been higher. I thought the Cowboys would have been at 60-70% snapping the ball at the 11 at that point, but who knows how that thing works. But so I flipped a coin today. I had 2 topics I had written down. I take notes every time I call because I'm a bit of a rambler, especially with the Cowboys. So I didn't know which one to cover here today. So I flipped the coin, and this is the one I landed on.
All right.
Basically just, some stuff I learned about the Cowboys over the past few weeks. CeeDee Lamb, one of the best receivers in the league. We were wondering early on in the season, why isn't he getting targeted as much? He had some games with 4 targets, 7 targets, wasn't getting a lot of looks, and they've kind of unleashed him now. In the last game alone, He had 4 20-plus yard receptions against 4 different DBs. So kind of speaks to how bad the Eagles secondary is and also how good CD is.
Right.
So I'm glad to see him going. Jake Ferguson, he's a real number 1 tight end here. I know he's still developing, but as a second-year guy, this guy is trending upward in a big way. I can go to the bathroom when Brandon Aubrey kicks a field goal and have peace of mind. The dude's absolutely automatic. I don't care if it's from 30, 40, 50. He's going to make it. So I hope I didn't just jinx it, knock on wood.
Yeah.
No. And then kind of the last thing here, Dak, he's still a top-notch quarterback in the league that can sling it around. I'm guilty. Last year wasn't his best season. Maybe he had broken thumb. Maybe that's something to do with it, probably. This year started off kind of bad, and it looked like his career was in kind of, a downward trend. But they've unshackled him, man. They've let him play the game of football now. Mm-hmm. And you can see he's going out there and he's playing, and he can win you games. He can win you a lot of games still, so that's great to see. And, that's all I got for you, man. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and have a good day.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. The Dak part, I mean, he's just playing football, man. He's just out there playing, and the game could have been, completely different if he doesn't step out of bounds there. And he even said himself, he knew he should have probably cut it up a little bit, take the hit. I mean, he's trying to avoid a hit there, and you've been playing in the fourth quarter there like that, and knowing what it takes to win games like that. He's already taken a few. I mean, he's just trying to get around there and dive, and if he straightens it out, dives for the pylon, takes the hit, he'll get in there. But he didn't do that. That's not to say he's not tough. He just flipped over, like a couple of series before that, he just flipped over 2 guys. So definitely not afraid of contact there. But he's playing great. He's playing way, way better right now, and I think he's just a lot more comfortable. And it's working. I mean, like, that's one thing I liked about you said CD as well. I like the fact that they sat down together. They said, all right, we can't have moments like that on national TV, San Francisco. Everyone sees it, then here's their drama between these two. No, they sat down like men, they talked it through, and then what's happened since then? Both of them have played their best football in these 3 games since then. CD is just playing all world. Let's just say all pro, because that's where he's at right now. And then and Dak as well. So all the other thing, getting Cooks involved, getting Gallup, getting Tolbert, getting the running game. That's all going to work. The good thing is that their best player, CD Lamb, is making plays. Dak is making plays for them, and they're moving the ball on offense, getting it going. They were in position to win that game against the NFL's best team. So if they keep this up, keep it rolling, there's really no reason why they can't get on a run here and win some games. All right, Ronnie in New Jersey is the next caller. Ronnie, what's up? What's happened since then? Ronnie.
Yes.
What's up, man? You're on.
Hey, how you doing, Nick?
Good. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Nick, after I know you already mentioned it on the show, but I was gonna say, Dak. I mean, he's playing a lot better. Definitely. In this game, he was the guy that I was like, oh man, is he gonna be at the moment? Is he gonna live up to the moment? And I think he did for the most part. I mean, but now after watching the tape and you start watching all the missed throws, I was gonna ask you, is Dak more like a one read quarterback, 1 or 2 reads, and then do whatever you can, get out of the trouble because of the offensive line, because they're playing that bad.
Right.
Scramble.
I mean, I wouldn't just call a quarterback, label him by how many reads he is. I mean, it goes down to the offensive line. I mean, I remember the game in New York when Romo stood there for 8 seconds. I mean, he was reading everything. He ordered a hot dog. He read everybody, and then he made the throw for the touchdown. I mean, it's not like Dak doesn't want to go through every read. Sometimes it is what it is. My issue is that on 4th and goal from the 2, why is Schoonmaker the only guy you're looking at here? And why is that the play? I mean, this guy, honestly, no offense, he's young. He hasn't made plays like this in the moment. He made the catch. Congratulations. 2 yards short of the first down. I don't know if that's really his. Did he cut it short? There was no time. My point is why aren't we looking at CD? Why aren't we looking at Cooks? Cooks was wide open. on the 4th and 8? Why is the ball only looking at Tolbert when Ferguson has been having a career day? He gets off the line, he's open, wide open. I'm just saying, if that's the only guy open, I get it. I'm looking at highlights. I see Noah Brown go for 150 yards on Sunday. He was the guy open in that game. So fantasy owners, good luck. Go sign him up. He'll have 2 catches for 9 yards next week. But my point is that sometimes it is the guy that's open. That's the guy. But in crunch time, 4th down, games on the line, I'm taking my chances with the guys that are playing well. Like playing the best. CD, Ferguson, that stuff. That's not a shot at the other guys. They're just not at that moment yet. I'm gonna, if I have to force it, I force it. But like I said, Cooks was wide open. Ferguson was wide open.
One more thing, Nick, if I can.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
CD, I don't know if it's the 88 or what, but the style of play that he's playing with, like, he looks like Des Bryant out there. I love the way CD is. He's skinny, but he's like a monster. He's running over guys. They got to keep on feeding CD. And Cooks, I know yesterday you mentioned, one of the callers mentioned, hey, where's Cooks? He's not suiting up or whatever.
Yeah.
No, Cooks is getting open. He's not getting the ball.
Okay.
There's a lot of plays in every single game. If you watch the tape, I know when you're watching the game, but if you watch the tape, man, Cooks gets separation on the guy that's guarding him almost every single play. He's just not getting the ball. And when he gets the ball, Dak thinks he's throwing it to CD and throws it like 10 miles up in the air. So that's my observation. But thanks for taking my call,
right.
Nick.
Thank you. And the thing about Cooks, he's a veteran. He'll figure it out. And he's done that. He's been good at going to different places. He's played with great quarterbacks. He's had 1,000-yard seasons with Drew Brees, Tom Brady. And then he's gone to other places, and he had I think Houston, or 1,000 yards there. I mean, I can't remember who their quarterback was there. I want to say maybe like Davis Webb or some. I can't even remember. But he's had some success with all kinds of quarterbacks. So they'll figure it out. But the good thing is this is CD's the guy. He's the dude. He's the number one receiver. They're throwing him the ball. He's making the plays. After that, it's kind of who's open. And I think that they'll see that. They'll see that Cooks is open, and that's something that Dak has to keep trusting him with. All right, we got some text message questions here we're going to get to. This one doesn't have a name. Interesting, though. Do you think veterans getting a rest day is hurting execution and continuity, especially on the offensive line? Yeah. Yes, it does. I mean, practice matters, or they wouldn't do it. So, yeah, it does hurt execution on the offensive line. Also, look at the health on the offensive line. Look at the guys that you have. I mean, Biotis is not on the injury report. I don't think he's 100%. I think he's dealing with a couple of little things. He's still doing it. Zach Martin, he's a veteran guy. He needs it. Tyron Smith, come on, he needs it. Tyler Smith has been injured at times. And coming back from a couple different injuries, and Terrence Steele, he's coming off an ACL injury. So yeah, does it hurt execution and continuity? Yes, it does. Do they need it? Yes, they do. So they have to figure it out. All right, Derek Bourne in Texas, his question: why do you think we did not see Rico Dowdle get more carries? It seems we're treating him the same way Pollard was treated in the early part of his career. Maybe. I don't know about the word treating. I mean, is that they're helping him develop. I mean, it's now Rico's a little bit older guy than Tony first couple years, but there's a lot to it than just getting the ball in your stomach, tucking away, and running. There's so much more to it than that. You've got to be a guy that they trust to be out there to pick up the blitzes, see where things are in the protections, leak out, make the plays. I'm not saying he can't do that. I'm just saying there's more to it than just getting out on the field and running. So I like to see Rico a little bit more. I think I like the way he runs, and it's as old as anything. Every backup running back everybody wants to see the backup running back. It's happened when Emmitt Smith was here, and there's a running back named Rashard Lee, number 32. I don't know if people even remember him. Rashard Lee, they wanted to see him back then. They wanted to see Troy Hambrick run the ball. Everybody wants to see the backup running back because when he gets in the game, he's a lot more fresh. He's ready. Boom, boom, boom. And it's just not the same. It was the same with Pollard. It's the same with anyone else. It happens. There's something to it. They need a little bit more carries because of the way they balance it. But still, this has gone on for a long, long time. All right, Ken as our next caller. Ken, you there?
Yes.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Are you ready to go? Ken in L.A., are you ready?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know you were going to me yet.
We're live.
Yeah,
We're on.
quick.
Let's go.
All right. Hey, yeah, real quick, I was saying I do agree with you on the thing with going to a rookie in crucial situations. It's not even the rookie's fault. It's like they shouldn't even be in that situation.
Right.
But my comment was I feel like everybody kind of feels too good about this loss. I know everybody, we wanted to win, but it's like you got to realize a lot of teams, I think Philly's been close in a few games, even the Jets beat them. So does that make the Jets going, we're as good as Philly?
Right.
Washington almost beat them. And there's no guarantee they're going to come into our stadium and we're just going to kick their butt like everybody's talking. I mean, it seems like, I don't know, do you feel that way or you guys you feel super confident, hey, we know we can beat them? You know?
Philly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can beat them. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, but I mean, when you look at the game and you look at how the ball bounces and the breaks and stuff like that, I mean, Philly did a nice job. And maybe I'm not seeing it the same way. I'm just seeing it from one perspective. But I don't remember 3 times where the Cowboys fumbled the ball and it's down there and they got lucky to get it back. I don't remember one where the Eagles are about to score and they get stopped at the inch line or the guy runs out of bounds at the 1. I don't remember that. So it was a close game back and forth, and I think I'm not talking about penalties. Penalties was 10-10. It was about the same. But from the breaks, I think the Eagles were fortunate there to come away with the win. Who's this?
Weren't they? I was just saying, weren't they fortunate to beat Washington in the end? They lost to the Jets. I mean, all those things.
Yeah, but
good doesn't make us any better than those teams because the Jets could be saying, "Hey, we're as good as the Cowboys."
Right. Well,
we.
But here's the thing: the Eagles aren't going to Arizona and getting waxed. That's not happening. So they give them credit for winning these games. It's not easy to be 8-1. They're a really, really good football team. They've got a tougher stretch going on. And this, do you have another question? Sorry, Ken, are you?
No.
Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, just appreciate.
Thanks for the call. I didn't want to end it if you had another question, but I did want to carry that into another text question from Carl in Nashville. He says, "Do you think Dallas and Philly will be 9-3 when they meet next?" I know Philly has some tough games ahead. They have a bye, then they have Kansas City. I think San Francisco's in there, maybe Seattle. They have some tough games, but do I think they'll be 9-3? No, not really. I don't know if they'll be losing twice. I think they'll have. I think they'll have 3 losses after the Cowboys game. I think the Cowboys will beat them. I really do. I think the Cowboys are going to win 5 in a row. That's not easy to say around here. Just the consistency like that. But I do. I think this team is turning the corner. I think they're a much better team now. They're figuring out the injuries. They can keep injuries, from being a problem. I think at 5-3, I think they'll be 10-3, and I think, I think that's probably where the Eagles will be. I see them being 10-3. As well. That means they lose one of those games coming up, and I think they lose to Dallas. So, if that happens, it's going to be interesting. For them coming up because I know they got the Giants a couple times. It'll come down to divisional record and all that good stuff. But yeah, I think the Cowboys can only worry about the Cowboys right now. And of course the Giants, the next opponent. But worry about themselves. Go out, take care of business. Whoever the Giants are lining out at quarterback, I have no idea who that's going to be. But no one's going to feel sorry for them. Go out there, win the game, and just keep stacking these wins together. All right, we're going to take a break here. I know we got callers on the line. We're going to take a break. We're going to be right back on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be right back for some calls.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys. And now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't-stop-banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Back to Cowboys Storylines.
All right, back here on Cowboys Storyline. We got about 20 more minutes to go. We got two callers on the line. We're going to get right to it. Brian in Kansas City. Brian, what's up, my man? Brian, are you there? Let's get him patched in. No, we're not going to go to Brian yet. Oh, there he is. Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Brian. What's up, man?
This is Michael in Bowling Green.
Oh, Michael in Bowling Green. All right. What's up? How are you doing?
Hey, pretty good. How you doing this morning?
I'm good.
I got two quick questions for you.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. First, near the end of the game when Dallas was on the 6-yard line, first and goal, and they just ended up messing that up. That's happened before.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you think there's things or ways they're going to correct it where, I mean, they should have easily scored, I think. But, I mean, you know.
Well, they weren't on the 6. They were on the 11. I mean, that's the thing. That they weren't on the 6. They were on the 11, which is one of the toughest places in the world to score is when first and goal on the 10 or 11-yard line. They were on the 6 until they decided to call a false start. But I'm talking about running the plays. They ran the plays at the 11.
Okay.
Right. I mean, well, I get what you're saying, though. I mean,
that makes sense. That's why I was asking you. You. The other thing is, I'm not sure exactly how all the voting works. Do you think Parsons is kind of sliding out of the defensive player of the year because he's only got 7.5 sacks? I know there's a lot more that goes into it. How do you think he is if he keeps an average of what he's doing so far, how will he be near the end of in your opinion? Yeah,
I appreciate that. I mean, thanks for the call, Michael. Sorry we got mixed up a little bit there. Michael, thank you for the call. I hear what you're saying, and I'm not trying to discredit because I say it all the time too. I mean, I say it. They got down to the 6-yard line, then a penalty, then a sack and all that. But from a play calling standpoint, I mean, you guys have heard me say it. It's like a broken record every time. First and goal at the 9, 10, or first down at the 11, it's very, very difficult to score from there. And, it's a much different play than dropping back. You got to get those guys into the end zone. You know they're not going deep, so the way the corners are playing is tough, especially, from the 6, a little bit different, though, because 2 steps and they're in the end zone, so everything's moving quicker. So I don't blame necessarily the play calling so much at that point. They had other chances though. They were inside the 10-yard line 3 times in the fourth quarter and got 6 points. So that's not acceptable there. Now there's also a reason for that too. They can't you would kick field goals in different parts of the game, but that's not kind of where they were in the game. Micah Parsons, I think he's on the outside of the conversation at this moment. The numbers aren't necessarily there, and the team isn't winning to that point. I'll say this. I mean, I don't know why he gets kind of overlooked, but Reddick from the Eagles is pretty dang good. I mean, he should be getting some mentions there as well. All right, we're going to go to the callers here. Is it Anthony in Miami? Is that next? Or we got Brian in Kansas City? Surprise me. Who we got?
What's going on, Nick?
What's up, man? Is this Anthony?
Yes, it is.
All right, what's up, man? You like the star? You like the star of the show here the last couple of days, man.
Hey, I just want to bring you a couple of ratings. When you showed the show that I've been dealing with for 7 years, hanging with the boys, love. So I'm gonna show you love. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So it's like that. But I like your show. I really do.
I appreciate it.
I'm right there, man. When we made our predictions, I predicted 12-4-1. I predicted the same prediction last year for the Cowboys with a tie, and Nate joined me this year.
Don't put a tie. Don't put a tie on me.
Yeah, we just do the tie thing. Yeah, we just like to do that, you know. So we're right there. You know, you shouldn't have lost the Arizona game. You know, you got the brakes beat off you with San Fran. So you kind of got, and now this heartbreak loss. So you got the three kind of losses that you get. You got them out the way. So now it's up to the Cowboys, man, or a coach or somebody got to instill that discipline, like I tell you. And remember, I brought the word up that I gave to the show, DAC, that discipline, accountability, and consistency. I preached that. You know, when we taught the kids down, that's what we taught when we coached. You have to check those things off, and you know there was not discipline. You know, from Rashawn Evans to, everybody in that game. My biggest take from that was, man, I know I don't want them to be stubborn when it comes to things that I think affected the game and affected Dak. As great as he performed, and he did miss some things, and everybody knows I'm the biggest Dak supporter, you can't let the guy, you can't let the line get beat up. You can't let one guy get beat up. You already did that years ago, and the whole world laughed at you when you let that happen. You know what I'm saying, on nationwide TV to let a guy do that. And this affected the game a little bit. Maybe affected Dak's decisions on some things. People's like, why didn't he hold the ball a little longer? Why didn't he go to this read?
Time out. Are you referencing Chaz Green, Atlanta? Is that what you're saying? Are you talking about that game?
Saying you can't let a situation like that happen.
That game.
Close to that. It wasn't that, but it was.
It wasn't. I've never seen anything. I've never seen anything close to that. But
that was like what? That was 8 or something.
Yeah, it was the same guy. And it was just no help, and at least they made a little bit more adjustments. I didn't get that feeling. I really didn't get that feeling for Terrence Steele. But it is the Eagles have the best defensive line in football without a doubt. And better.
And that's why I'm gonna give him a pass with the knee.
Yeah,
I like Steele. So I'm going to give him a pass.
All right.
And when everybody's talking about the guys that are not playing, this is one guy that's really not playing.
Yeah.
That he should. And that's Jaron Curse. What's going on with him, man? It's just I see something. We need him to step up, and we can't take none of these teams for granted as we go and try to close this gap.
Yeah.
Don't take these teams for granted. You need to go ahead and beat these teams in no less than 4-1. In the next 5.
I agree.
So I'll hit you up next time.
All right. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate that.
All right,
man. You don't see a lot out of J-Ron Curse. I haven't seen, like the wow plays and things like that. I had an interception earlier in the year against the Jets and thought he was going to score there. He looks good in that number 1. I know that though. When he comes out there, he looks good. He's playing pretty well. But he'll have a few penalties on you now. That's one thing about the safety position. You can really look at all the safeties. I don't think they're getting the wow plays out of the safety position that they had in the past. It's not like I don't think. They aren't. You just don't see. You don't see a lot of the plays out of Donovan Wilson that he had last year. The same with Malik Hooker, J-Ron Curse. So the production from the safety, I think, could be a little bit more. They talk about three-headed monster. It's not as scary as it has been before. All right. Brian in Kansas City. Is Brian up next?
Hey, Nick, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
All right.
Hey, so I'm kind of with the last caller, just want to kind of take the temperature of where people are at with. So in listening to the different shows, it sounds like, I don't analyze football for a living, but we all saw Steele have a bad game this week.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like people were saying that last week, too. And Nate in Frisco, when he was on your show, said, I'm going to give him a pass for the whole year because he's coming back from this injury and you can't tell anything for about a year.
Well, hold on that.
Would we want to try a Dogo over there and just See, or has Steele been good most of this year, and people are hitting the panic button because he had a bad game on national television?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. Do you have another question or?
No, that's it.
All right.
Hey, have a great day.
Good stuff, Brian. Here's the thing about that, and I think we'll talk about giving a pass. I think it's giving a pass before you start to say this was not a good contract. This wasn't a good, move long term. Now, if the guy can't keep the quarterback upright, that's going to be a problem. There's no passing there. There's no let's just play through it. You can't do that on your right tackle if your quarterback is in harm's way. And I think it's the whole the nature of the offensive line and judging the offensive line. They had a tackle, and I can't think of his name. Alex Barron. Alex Barron in the opener against Washington, 2010 or so. He gave up 3 sacks in the game. And one of them was at the end of the game, or a holding penalty or whatever. It had 3 sacks. It was terrible game. He graded out better than any other lineman on that game that day. I mean, he played really well. But you remember, 3 sacks out of 65 is a terrible game. And that's the thing. I'm not saying Steele had a good game at all. All I'm saying is that sometimes, it's easy to see, well, who was that? And it was Steele again. Well, the previous play was in the second quarter. This is in the fourth quarter. But he's had a lot of good moments in there. That's the nature of the offensive line. And the fact that we're used to we're seeing Tyron Smith over the years, Zach Martin. I mean, Zach Martin's got more Pro Bowls than holding penalties. That's a fact. So when that happens, though, you judge some of the other guys the same way. I think he's going to be fine, but I'll say this, though. You can't risk your quarterback. If it's not there right now, they need to figure that out. Or at least do some adjustments to give a little bit more help. There's ways to do this other than just saying, hey, we got him. He's out there. Deal with it. That doesn't always work. All right, Steve in Washington. You're next.
Morning, Nick.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Hey, I got it all figured out. I know exactly what's to blame for that loss on Sunday. It's that damn daylight savings time.
Ah, yes.
I'm telling you. If we had any part of that hour left at the end of the game, we would have won that thing.
Love it. I love it. I was so confused. It was weird. I was so confused. Anytime daylight savings falls when we're on a road trip out of the time zone, I'm telling you, man, I have a college degree, but I still get confused. And my phone is telling me what time it is. My phone, nowadays, there's no watches and stuff like that. But the weird part was that when you go from Dallas to Philadelphia and then you gain the hour and then you lose, you get it back or you lost it, whatever. And it's it's exactly the same as it was. You know what I mean? We lost an hour and then we got it back. So I don't know why I was confused. Yep. I shouldn't have been. But you're right. That's it. That's the reason. Blame that. Daylight savings with the loss. Okay. Yep. All figured out. Super Bowl.
We only needed just 10 minutes of that hour.
Yeah.
We would have had back.
That's all you needed. There you go.
That's it.
That's all you got?
Have a good day.
That's
awesome.
Have a
good show. I love your show.
Appreciate it. That's great.
All right.
Call. If that's his only call, makes me wonder, was he serious? No. Probably not. No, I love it. Love that call. All right, I can tell you somebody that doesn't think this way, that he doesn't feel like we lost because of daylight savings. I'm going to go on a hunch and say that Rob in Vegas, who's our next caller, does not think the Cowboys lost because of daylight savings. Rob.
Hey, Nick.
What's up, man?
So I don't know. I'm confused on why any fan or player thinks this is a good loss. This was a terrible loss because your quarterback threw for almost 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. Your number one receiver went for almost 200.
Mm-hmm.
You held their quarterback to 200 yards passing, one of the best receivers, if not the hottest receiver right now, to 60, and you still lost, and you gave up 28 points, and you could only score 23. Plus, what's coming up? We have an easy schedule. They have a extremely hard schedule. This was their shot, and they blew it. And hearing the players, the fans, I get it. You got fans that are just happy that they're on TV. That's not me. It's either win or forget it. But when I hear Micah Parsons, I'm tired of hearing Micah Parsons say, you guys act like they're just happy to be there. The Eagles expect to win, and the Cowboys just want to put on a good game. And I'm just so aggravated. I just don't understand. And the two moves that we talked about at the trading deadline would have turned that game totally different. We said they should go get the young cornerback from the Bears, which would have put Deron Bland back in the slot because Jordan Lewis was terrible. He got burned all game. That would have fixed that. And then we said this team needs another wide receiver. If they could have made a move for Mike Evans, could you imagine Mike Evans with CeeDee Lamb? I mean, we have nobody else as a wide receiver. Gallup, I think mentally is shot. Then you got Cooks. For whatever reason, he doesn't fit this offense. He doesn't fit the offense, or Dak doesn't see him, maybe because he's shorter. I don't know. And Tolbert, who knows yet? I think he's an up-and-coming. But I just don't understand why people think this was a good one. You had first and goal from the 6. Yeah. When you play with your friends in the backyard, and you would say, okay, this is it.
Have you heard that? Hey, Rob, okay. Have you heard those two words together? Have you heard good loss? Have you heard good loss? I haven't. I have not heard that.
Yes.
This was a good loss.
I've heard it all over the place.
Okay, well, then that's wrong. I mean, everyone can have their opinion. I don't agree with that. I've never said good loss. I don't think anyone on this show said good loss.
Well, I'm hearing fans, and I even hear the players. Like, we have more confidence now. You should have. No, you shouldn't.
I do. Why?
Why
should they not have more confidence?
Because I don't think they could duplicate what they did when they play Philly again.
So you call it a fluke. Why are we?
I don't think you're going to hold Philly down. like you did.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts is hurt.
All right.
I don't.
So you're calling that a fluke. I don't call that game a fluke. You are calling it a fluke, and that's fine if you think that way. But I don't think people are viewing it and saying, "Hey, it was a really good game. They gave it their best. The Eagles gave it their best. Cowboys came up short. We'll see them again for sure. They'll probably see them twice again. And if that happens, we'll see what happens. But you are saying that is a fluke that the Eagles were held to that number, and that the Cowboys had all these yards. They had a chance to steal it, and they didn't. That's kind of the way I sense it from you. I don't see it that way. I see it
I don't use the term fluke, but let's be honest. You probably won't see a performance from Dak like that again this season.
Disagree.
Almost 400 yards.
Disagree.
And here's the thing.
Saw it 2 weeks ago.
If you do see that, it's probably going to be a loss again. Because when Dak has to throw 40-something times, we lose.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see that performance.
I don't want to see that performance either, but I want to see 2 weeks ago.
280 with at least 100 yards rushing performance.
You feel let's just cut to the chase here. Sorry. You feel like the Cowboys, you feel worse about the Cowboys than you did 48 hours ago. Like watching that game, you're like, I don't feel better about this team. Because I'm the other way. I don't feel better about the team, no. Cool.
When I look at the Eagles, they're battle tested.
Got it.
They win these ugly games. And they like I just rattled off, they still scored 28 points, and we can't score. Our offense doesn't score. What interprets the numbers is we get a lot of defensive scores. But our offense does not score.
Got it. Okay.
And that's the problem. And I don't know where it's going to come from if you don't get a second wide receiver. Oh. And that's where if this team does not get turnovers, we don't win. The games we lost, Arizona, San Francisco, we don't get any turnovers, and that's what worries me because this team hasn't proved. The offense hasn't proven they could score unless they get help or very short fields. And even like I said, you had first and goal from the 6, a dream right there. You could end it. You didn't even have to worry about kicking off and then maybe kicking the field. End it, and we just couldn't get it done.
Got it. Thanks for the call, Rob. Dennis, we're going to go to Dennis in Albany real quick before we end the show. Dennis in Albany.
That's the problem.
What's up? I hear Rob again. Dennis in Albany, you're up.
What's up, Nick?
What's up,
Dennis, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing? Different
vibes.
That
was a good win. That was a moral victory, Nick. I don't want to hear it. So, Nick.
What's up?
Nick, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Hey, Nick, I got a question for you. You remember everything about the Cowboys Do you forget your kid's birthday or something like that? Do you remember everything like that? I can ask you about a 1995 player, and you'll give me the answer.
Who?
That's one question.
Give me one.
Do you? I don't have one from 95.
Okay.
Who was our quarterback in 1995?
It was Troy Aikman. It was
the
quarterback.
great Troy
the
Aikman.
backup was Wade Wilson, and then the backup to him was Jason Garrett. But whatever. Go ahead.
I love it. So listen, Nick, against everyone else, I like this team. I like this team, and I like this schedule because we're going to have 5 games we should win, right? Get us to 10-3, 9-3, or whatever.
You hope,
And then we go play Buffalo, which the schedule makers are ridiculous, and we play Miami, and that's a good stretch to get us to the playoffs. We're never going to be perfect.
Right.
But I tell you what, our defense can win us games, and my man from Vegas, he's been calling for years with that negative. Actually, the answer to his question is when Dak throws that much, he was 3-0. And this was his first loss with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Just want to throw that out there. But what I really say, Nick, I like this team a lot. And I think we made mistakes, and people are talking about the Eagles and much. We kind of outplayed them. We caught a couple bad breaks, spots. They got some bad breaks, but I like this team, and I think it's different from a lot of years, and that's all I'll say. I like.
Right.
Can you talk about that too?
Yeah, I appreciate that, and that call right there. Your point there is kind of what my point to the call before, and I had to cut Rob off and go to the next caller because we're running out of time here. But I'll say this: like I don't look at this like you got all these extra gifts, like you made all of these plays on offense, and you got lucky to keep them, to hold them to this, and then you could have won. Like you'll never get that again. Like I don't agree with that. I think you line them up again. I think you can win that game again. And now, does this hurt you for going to the to winning the division? Yeah, that was a great chance to win the division. Probably it's going to be a lot harder to do that. But I don't think the way this league is, you got to get in the tournament. You got to get in, and you got to be ready. You got to be healthy, and you got to be able to hang with the best teams in football. And if the Eagles are the best team in football, and that's the toughest place to play, I'll take my chances on the Cowboys with this team going up there, doing it again, getting in from the 1-inch line, scoring a 2-point conversion, getting one of those 3 fumbles that were laying on the turf. I take my chances on the Cowboys doing that again. I don't call it a fluke. I think that they came up short. Let's see them play it again. All right, that's it for the Cowboys break. Want to give a shout out Jasmine Marshall and Josh Rodriguez filling in for Chris Beam for a little bit today. Excellent job. You guys, they're awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the callers. We got Cowboys break coming up here in a second. We'll be here tomorrow on Cowboys Storyline. See you then.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!